people get involved in your campaign. They say, you know what, I love this woman. I love what she's doing. She's fighting for us. This is John Villarreal reporting for Conservative New Media.
And this is why I've changed my approach to interviewing candidates. Now, normally I ask candidates, tell me who you are, why you're running. Sure. Any candidate I want to interview right now, and I want to look them in the eyes, and I want to say to them, why do you want to be in fill in the blank, Senate seat, congressional seat, state seat? Why do you want to be in that job? What is it about? What do you think you're going to do when you get there? Because I am telling you, I'm seeing more and more of these people who do not, they have no fundamental understanding what it is they're supposed to be doing there, and it's scaring me. I have interviewed candidates, and you've been here for this, where I have interviewed candidates on this show who given me answers that sound like platitudes. Well, I want to go to Washington, D.C. and make everybody's life better. Well, your definition of better and my definition of better are two totally opposite things. So what exactly are you going to do? We've had candidates in here who want to go to Washington, D.C. and use the power of government to inflict California law on everywhere else. Oh, gosh. As a good thing, because that's what's fair for California. Well, that may be fair for California, but that's not what you're supposed to do. That's incorrect policy. But why did they get that way? And the scary part to me is what I'm trying to do here, John, and I don't, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've got all the answers. But what I'm trying to do is motivate people who want to be servants, want to be public service, and who want to go to Washington, D.C. with the understand, or Sacramento, or their city councils, with the understanding that their job is to protect the people's rights. They work for the people and not to get reelected. And if you walk into there with the idea of, I've got to start working on a campaign to get reelected, I don't want you there. I do not want you there. Right.
Well, look, I think this is important, and I think that this is how we do things. And look, it's simple. Again, it's about the platform, and it's about the education. The thing is I have big plans for Conservative New Media and for Dave Diamond and KFIV and the whole 9 yards. And believe me, I have this thing mapped out. When I say I'm a Supergenius, that is real fact. That is not just marketing. I will say it's great marketing, though. People make fun of me with that. But think about this.
One of them.
No, that's great. But think about this. If you were to think about Supergenius or type in Supergenius on the web, who's the one person in the world you think of? John D. Villarreal. Beautiful branding, my friend. Now,
really? I come up with Albert Einstein.
Oh, but that's stop. You keep making fun of me, and it's going to keep working for me all day long.
I've toyed with the idea of coming up with T-shirts for Afternoons Live, and I'm toying with what to put on the T-shirts. Okay. And I'm
a good guy for that. I know how to do these things.
Now I'm wondering if Supergenius shouldn't be one of the...
It should be.
I don't know.
But the thing is this. We have to hold these people accountable, and we have to continue to educate people, and we have to keep getting it out there. It's the platform. I'm telling you right now, a lot of these people that we've talked about and whatever, 60 days from now, 61 days, whatever it is, and November 2nd, a lot of them are going to lose. It's not going to matter.
Took a course, autodidactic courses, as Rusty says, in philosophy.
Yeah.
Because I like to read, I like to do something, and sometimes you take... One of the questions they asked in that course is, what is this? And I'm holding up something to show to John. What
pen.
Is it? That is a pen.
Yeah.
Okay. What is this?
It's a different kind of pen.
It's a pen.
Yeah.
And yet they are...
Totally different.
And they do the same thing.
Right.
And I asked the question back then, what is it that fundamentally makes a conservative a conservative? And we got some interesting answers. What I got more than anything else that day, and it was back in the morning show, and morning shows for talk radio are very difficult because you got time elements, you've got service elements, you got news, weather, traffic, all this stuff going on. And it's hard to get into these things, but most of the discussion, most of the comments I got offline were, you're driving me nuts because now I'm having to think about why I'm a conservative. What is it that makes me a conservative? What is it that is, in fact, a conservative? And so, as people, we throw this term out all the time. Well, I'm a conservative, I'm this, I'm that. We hear people talk to us about, well, I'm a conservative, but you need to vote for Meg because she's better than Jerry. Some conservatives seem to believe that it's better to just win. Other conservatives say, no, I'm going to vote my principles, and for the record, that's the side I'm on.
All right.
And I don't feel like I just developed that overnight. I will tell you point blank that when I was in Georgia, I was a member of the Republican Party. I was a state delegate to the state convention.
Cool.
I believed I worked my butt off in as far as I could for the Republican Party. There were some limits that I couldn't get past, but as a general rule, I worked hard for the Republican Party in a very Democratic district in Georgia. Now, I have gone beyond that. Now, I no longer believe in win at all costs politically. I believe that there is a point where you actually do sell your soul, and it scares me because the Republic requires men and women who can disagree with me and yet still represent me. And I don't feel like I have that anymore. I do not have representation in Washington, D.C. right now.
Right. Well, okay.
Or in Sacramento.
Like I said, this is not about one candidate. It's going to take some time here. And so let's just go back to this. What's great about this show and what's great about this is that people are getting, without all the specifics, they're getting an actual battle plan here, the game plan, the JDV, Supergenius, KFIV, Diamond, Dave Diamond battle plan here. And it also fits in totally with all this, which is, again, it's about the platform. Think about this. Think about the impact that you have had, that conservative new media has had, that I have had on these candidates in this election. Look at the rate. Look at what we did with CD11. Look even here in CD18. Look at this Senate race. And look at the people that we've helped across the country, whether it's Joe Miller, whether it's Scott Brown, Christine O'Donnell, Sarah Palin, all that type of stuff. And this is just off of, again, the money that I had with no major push or anything like that. And now we have a chance, if we increase and expand the platform, if you and I work on a national radio show, if we get the TV show up and running, we become #1 now in the world for mainstream conservative channels on YouTube. And we're already #4. We're moving up fast. How much impact can we have then? How much impact can we have with great patriots and people getting involved there with, Tea Party members across the country, the good people here in Modesto and Stockton and other places, if we come together? And that's what I'm saying is it's not a short-term plan. It's not a one-candidate plan. It's a long-term plan. And believe me, I have way bigger plans and ideas than that I'm not going to lay out here. But what I'm saying is, when it comes down to this, it's very simple. I believe that for the most part, and there's going to be exceptions that we'll come back and talk about if we have time for it, for the most part, you have to vote Republican and get the Democrats out. You have to stop Obama. We've had the battles in the primary. There's some are still going on across the country, but here in California, we've had those battles. And I say you go on further. So I think that Meg is definitely way better than Jerry Brown, and I'm all for Meg. Carly, I love Carly, and we're all for Carly over Boxer. Now,
but you see, I'm already off that band.
But here's how we do this. We continue to hold their feet to the fire, because what do politicians need? They need messaging and media. And if we control that, or we control a huge platform, if we can have 500,000 people, or more show up in Washington like Beck did, if we can have this huge audience that they need, we continue to examine it and hold their feet to the fire. And what we do, so basically the simplest way to say it is, we vote Republican right now because it's better than the Democrats. We've all seen what Obama and the Democrats have done. And then every single primary we vote for the conservative over the rhino, for the outsiders versus the insiders. Not everything. Look, if Carly gets elected, she does a great job, we'll be all for her. But we have to hold them all accountable. It's no more, hey, you're in there and you're part of our party, we're going to give you a pass. Or you have an R in your name and get a pass. And like what we said over here in CD11, for example, I said on this air that I think David Harmer is fake, and I think he's a punk. I still believe that. Now, maybe he's our fake, and maybe he's our punk, and maybe he's better than McNerney, but I can tell you this. Until I get the right answers from David Harmer, or that campaign comes to me and say, hey, we need conservative media on this, and we're ready to be the real deal, and we're ready to get with it, because they just put me back on their mailing list, then, maybe I'll vote for him, maybe I won't. Maybe maybe we'll support him to the extent that we want to support a Republican over a Democrat, but we're not going to go all out. We're not going to do anything really serious and whatnot like that. And guess what? If we see, as people are predicting, that the House is going to go to the Republicans and we don't need that David Harmer seat, then you know what? It's not as tough as a choice. And that's what I'm saying. We're still going to hold people's feet to the fire. People, come on. We've seen what you said on the air before you took off. We know what I've done here recently with, the CD18 thing. Nobody doubts now that John D. Villarreal and Dave Diamond will stand up for their principles and belief and hold either party accountable, and that's all you can do.
Well, here's where I'm at, though, and maybe this is a philosophical paradigm change here. You mentioned controlling the media and the message, and even an eBay Meg is going to need to do that. But here's the paradigm shift in politics, particularly here in California right now. We have candidates, major candidates. If you look at the 3-4 major candidates for office in the last primary, eBay Meg, how much has she spent?
Oh man, was it $100 million almost?
To the point where at the California Republican Party convention in San Diego a couple weeks ago, she essentially dictated to the CRP.
She owns the party now.
So
that's her.
Really, she does control the message with money. Carly is quite wealthy. Steve Poizner was quite wealthy. You've got other candidates who are putting their own money into it or have sources of money. Realistically speaking, I almost feel like, and I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. I almost feel like I am a lone voice in the wilderness. I almost feel like I'm Elijah out in the wilderness here because I cannot be bought. I will tell you this right now. No candidate has enough money to buy my vote. And that's a fact. I don't care if you don't like it or not, candidates out there. You don't have enough money to buy my vote.
Right.
If you can't look me in the eye and give me an honest answer as to why you want to be in that office, and I'll tell you right now, to date, I have yet to hear an honest answer for that.
Right.
But I accept. You can't buy me, and what do I got to lose? Okay, let's say for the sake of argument that you walk in here with your $100 million, eBay Meg, buy the station and demand to fire Dave. You don't think that I can't do something else?
All right, of course you can. You're a major talent.